IT Live. YouTube, what is going on? Oh, my chair is back. We are just getting started with a little Amazon FBA Q&A about the TikTok Live here. For those of you who don't know, I stream on both platforms now, TikTok and the app with the little red play button. What items do you sell? So for obvious reasons, I do not share the exact products that I sell, but I sell things like home decor, office products, baby products, toys and games, health and household, in all different types of categories on Amazon, which is why when people ask me what's the best category to sell on, I tell them every single category has decent potential products. Now, there are some categories that I avoid. My phone's at 10%, so let's avoid it dying early and plug it in now since I remembered. What was I saying? Oh, sorry, a little notification popped up. There are some categories that I avoid, things like electronics, things that are majority fragile. I avoid clothing and toys. Yo, RA is trash because I can't find a dang thing to sell. Jimmy, I agree with you, bro. Now I'm going to be a little biased me speaking, but I don't think that those are good. I don't think that those are good. I don't think it's a good business model. You're sitting there constantly having to find products. You're sitting there constantly having to source products. Like, for example, I know somebody who's at some point, they actually really leveled up. But they found one product. They're a private label seller, and they were selling that product steadily for years and years and years. They weren't like a multi-millionaire, but they made enough to support themselves and all these things. So advice, bro, I would look into private label. Go check out some of my videos. I personally think it's the best business model on Amazon. If you wanted to stick to arbitrage, everything's a numbers game, bro. You just got to keep being persistent. Now, I'll touch on that a little bit more. Luke, are you going to eat the tariffs or pass it on? Great question, brother. It's going to be a mix of both if I'm being fully transparent. There's going to be some accounts where we can well support it, right? If we only go up 10% of our cost of goods, that's not really going to be a make or break. Now we have like, for example, on the new account, on the 0 to 1 mil account, where I'm taking a brand new Amazon account from 0 to $1 million in sales and documenting every step of the journey. Some of those new products that we launch, we're going to have to pass it on to the consumer because, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys just saw the tariffs on Mexico and China just got paused. And this is what I've been telling everybody. And you can double check that I've been telling everybody this because the YouTube lives are all recorded. So you can go rewatch what I've been saying. I didn't necessarily think that they were officially going to get implemented, but I said it's a negotiation tactic. You start here, okay, we're going to hit you with these crazy tariffs, and now all of a sudden Mexico is sending 10,000 of their troops to our border, right? And these tariffs were gone. Now there's a different play with China as to why the tariffs were implemented there. I'm not one to be able to analyze this. So maybe listen to other people's opinions and people who can break it down a little bit more. But I think that the one with China might go a little bit more back and forth. We'll see how it plays out. Yo, what up, CC? Good to see you. Are you an Amazon seller? Yes, bro. What was the hardest thing for you to learn and overcome for FBA? Honestly, for me, brother, it was PPC ads. My first product was solid. I've had failed products after that. But, I felt like I had product research down. A lot of the products that I failed was because I didn't stick to the fundamentals. I'm like, okay, I know what makes a good product work. And then I did a full 180. So that was, negligence on my part. PPC ads, I really struggled with. And another thing, I don't really know how to word it like PPC ads, but in simple terms. But I guess you could say like worrying about the sky always falling. It's something I've talked about before. I internalized a lot of the things that happened in business. Like one of the biggest stories is I almost lost my trademark. Some of you are like, how'd you almost lose it? I branded my first product. I had done a basic trademark search. I saw that the name was available, but I had taken the advice that my cousins had given me because I'd seen them do it and it worked out for them. And then also I was in a similar position when I started as they were, where I didn't really have that much money. And that advice was, hey, as long as the trademark name is available, you can try to make some money before you pay for the trademark. This was before like brand registry was as, dominant as it is today. Like I think it's more important now than ever. But anyways, so at that point, I was doing 5+ figures a month in top line revenue. I had the #1 bestseller badge on Amazon, and I start to file my trademark. And they're like, yeah, it looks good. Boom, boom, boom. We did a search. It looks good. And this is before the IP Accelerator program existed. So I actually got the trademark with a law office down in LA, California. I'm from SoCal, for those of you who are new here. And I get a call one day from the trademark office. They're like, hey, listen, there's an issue. There's somebody who filed before you, and it missed between the cracks, or it slipped between the cracks. They're like, someone who filed their trademark before you, and essentially if they get accepted because they were first, boom, then you lose the rights to your trademark. At this point, again, I was doing 5 figures in top line revenue, #1 bestseller badge on Amazon. I had hundreds of followers on my social media pages. Like my brand name was recognized across the community. And so in that moment, I literally felt like the sky was falling. I felt like my world was crumbling down. It almost like I internalized it too much, but I thought that it was like, I'm sitting here thinking I'm still on my best friend's couch at this point. Because remember, it was 1 year until I, left my job and all of that. And so I'm sitting here thinking like, this was my ticket out. And you're telling me that I have to have this huge setback, boom, boom, boom. I was destroyed that day. I even went to work, and this was, I'm going to tell the long version. I'm sorry, but it's worth it. I go to work for my cousins that day. Remember, my cousins were my mentors. They taught me how to sell on Amazon, and I'm moping around. My cousin's like, what's wrong? He thinks like something terrible happened. That's how upset I look. He's like, what's wrong, bro? And I explained to him the situation, and he like brushes it off, but not in like, it was a really interesting thing. He brushes it off, almost like not feeding into my negativity. He's like, bro, like, what are you even tripping about? Get back to work. And I almost was like upset at that for a moment. Like, how could you not feel bad for me? You know what I'm going through, blah, 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 blah. And I was actually so happy that he did that, because there was a lesson behind that. He wasn't doing that because he didn't care or because he's heartless or anything like that. He was doing that because he's like, bro, everything's going to work out. You're sitting here acting like, somebody just passed, God forbid. And you're having an issue with your trademark name. So that was something that I really struggled with in the beginning. Every little problem, just because I didn't think everything was going to go wrong. So I always talk about that. Like I was the opposite. I was always like, everything is going to just go right. Positivity. It's going to be a successful business, a successful product, boom, boom, boom. But when things didn't go right, I really had to learn to be more level-headed and be like, okay, listen, you just got to take the punches and you got to roll with them. Private label, isn't it more risky? Bro, every business is Kevin, stop trolling people, bro. Sorry, I got distracted there. Good to see you, Kevin. Every business is going to have an equal risk. Now, there's things that you can do to mitigate that risk. I know why you're saying that, bro, and that's because of the way that private label has been sold on the internet. Every single ad that you've seen from an arbitrage seller, every single arbitrage or wholesale seller who's trying to convince you to do private label, they all sound the same. Privately, you can sell products that are already in demand, that are brand name products like Lysol or Nike. People know these brands. You don't have to create your own brand. You don't have to advertise. You sell on a listing that people are already buying from. It's like the same pitch all the time. It doesn't mean that it's actually a better business model. In which you'll actually find, like, there's like a percentage of like students in my mentorship, for example. You have some who have just never sold on Amazon. You have some who are in a different business model, not even related to Amazon, and they want to dabble into Amazon and diversify themselves. And then you have, and this is actually a really decent size percentage, you have all the arbitrage and wholesale sellers who come over to private label. If we were to take 100 people in 3 groups, right? 100 private label sellers, 100 wholesale sellers, and 100 arbitrage sellers. A large portion of them from arbitrage and wholesale who still want to sell on Amazon but realize what that business model truly is come over to private label. The people from private label, I'm not saying none do, but very rarely, much less, do they go over to those other business models. Should I start Amazon selling? If that's what interests you, Haven. Ode, thank you so much for the follow on the TikTok live. Let's go. I see a lot of comments where I won't be able to actually sell because of not being approved. That is arbitrage and wholesale. What was the product, if you can tell? My first successful product was a gummy supplement. This was back in 2019. I don't share exactly what the gummy supplement was, but that was the one that crushed for me. User 55, thank you so much for the follow on the TikTok live. Is it safe to add your identification when making an FBA account? Like your ID? Yes, it's something that's required when creating your account. You recommend Ungate brand and return? No, bro. I don't do wholesaler arbitrage. Is it safe to add your answered that? Kevin, thank you for sharing the live. Mark, good to see you, brother. It's been a minute. I know we were messaging a bit earlier. I owe you a response, but Mark, keep pushing, bro. Enough said. You got this. How much did you start with? 4,900 USD. I started wholesale, but to scale in that, you need to find products, and it's not easy. Yes, it's a constant game of finding products. I'm low-key learning not to rush things. There's two sides of this, right? And this is what's interesting about the internet, because like I hear both sides, and I agree with both sides. Slow and steady wins the race, but then also speed answers all problems in the market. But I think that they're both true for different things. It's not necessarily they have one or the other has to be true for, I messed that up. Anyways, they can both be true for different things, meaning that slow and steady is ideal for certain aspects of business. But you don't want to be slow and steady in your decision making. You don't want to be slow and steady in needing to make optimizations, because if you're slow and steady when you're running your PPC ads and trying to make optimizations, then you might spend a lot more money than you want, be in the red, and then you didn't actually make the changes. So speed answers all problems in the market in that aspect. But like patience and like slow and steady in the sense of like you don't have to be a millionaire next year if you start. And this is what a lot of people aren't necessarily a fan of him, but this is why I really like how Gary Vee talks. It's like, y'all got time. There's people who are like 30 who think that like, oh my gosh, because I saw some kid on the internet who's 25, who's making more than me, then I'm behind in life. It's like, no, you got time. If you have the, God willing, live the average lifespan, 80, 90 years, and you're 30, you're not even at the halfway mark. So you got time. Slow and steady in that aspect, not feeling like, never comparing, staying on the path, sticking to the fundamentals, not trying to get to the get rich quick path, because that's just not really a thing. Do you use VAs? I do, but they're not necessarily. I really use VAs for not really for the things that you would think for Amazon. Most of my VAs are not even for the Amazon business. What do you mean private label? Is where you take white label or generic products. So for example, this is a private label product. They went to a manufacturer who sells screen cleaner, and then they created their own brand, put their own label on it, and sold this product as their own. That is the private label or the white label business model. What is the process of testing products that work? What do you mean, Brendan? Like testing them in the market or testing the quality? Because it would be a different answer for either one. How many products do you have to reach that? This is not monthly, brother. This is 1 year. So if you see, it's 2/1/24 to 1/30/25. But this is 9 products. I am mostly talking about product research. Yes. Okay. So that's something where slow and steady and speed answers all or answers all problems in the market applies. How? Because with product research, slow and steady in the sense of don't rush. Don't just feel like you have to pick a product because you've been looking for a week and like, I'm just going to settle on something that doesn't have good numbers. But speed answers all problems in the market because it's a numbers game. Like Go look at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 products if you have to, and you got to learn how to do that quick. I have videos on how to do that and how to analyze markets. Queen D, thank you so much for sharing the live. I'm 24. I'm not even 25% done. God willing, brother. Let's go. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, it's funny because even not me, I'm about to turn 20. Oh, that's so crazy. I'm about to turn 26 in April. And I'm weirdly at a point in life where, like, I know that I'm super young, the advice that I just told everybody else. But then it's like, oh man, like time's flying. And so we're human. It's normal to get caught up and be like, no, I have to be here and boom, 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 boom. But it's like, oh man, I'm blessed. I'm grateful for where I'm at. And, you know, like think of the time that it took me to build this, right? 6 years. If God forbid, tomorrow I lost everything. 6 years from now, I would still be 32, right? Well, 31, 32. You have time. Like if I lost everything and had to take another 6 years to build, now that would suck and nobody would want that. I do love the game. That's why I'll start new businesses. But you got time. You got time. Like, how do you know which ones are going to sell? Based on product market numbers. So like average reviews, average price, average revenue, how many new sellers in the market are performing well, advertising cost per clicks. I have some videos that I posted on my TikTok recently on, oh wait, why did my screen get dark? Is my phone charging? Yes, it is. Okay, sorry. But I have some videos on TikTok on the criteria that I use, as well as I just posted a brand new YouTube video today, how to find a successful product to sell on Amazon. That is live. So make sure you guys go show some love to that one. What ads do you recommend for white label? Private label, stick to Amazon ads. That's where you're going to get a majority of the traction, the best conversion, and the best bang for your buck. And then organic traffic as well. Like, I don't like to think of anything one-dimensional. You guys, if you're in my lives long enough, we'll see people come in here and say, what's better, TikTok or Amazon? Or what's better, Shopify or Amazon? Or what's better, this or that? But then like a solid business, they don't necessarily focus on everything at the start. You build, it's building blocks. But a solid business is omnipresent. They're on IG. They're doing organic social. They're doing paid ads. They're on Amazon. They have their own site. You know, God willing, TikTok stays around. They're on TikTok Shop. But then everybody feels like the world has to be either or. It can't be and. But that is everything that life is. It's always and. I'm going to do Amazon and Shopify. I'm going to do Amazon and TikTok Shop. I'm going to run Amazon ads and I'm going to do social media. That's how you really get to the finish line. And what is your profit margin, if you don't mind me asking? I do not mind you asking. On this account, 40% margins. Across accounts, on average, 35%. Buy my private label brand. Nah, I'm good. I'll finish my virtual ID verification. Here's another thing. Like, unless somebody had just like a brand that was one of those offers that was just like too good to be true. Unfortunately, unless you had something that was patented, everything is a commodity item. If you had a brand that sold screen cleaner, even if it wasn't a market that I'd want to go into, the question is, like, let's say it was like, okay, I'm going to sell this brand for $250,000. If I took $250,000 of my money, could I go create a brand on my own that would compete or do better than that brand? For most categories, for the sale price of what people would ask, $100,000, $250,000, $500,000, $1 million. If I were to take that liquid capital, even in the most competitive category on Amazon, just because of the skills and the teams that I'd be able to deploy, I would be able to rock it. So it just wouldn't really be worth buying a brand, again, unless you owned, well, I couldn't afford Scrub Daddy, but unless you owned like Scrub Daddy, a patented product that would just absolutely crush. But that's a little out of my budget. They did what, 340 M's last year. I finished my virtual ID verification, Amazon, and there is no reply from Amazon after that. Do you have access to your seller account? Yeah, bro, I'm in your course watching your videos. I know, CC, good to see you, brother. Or sister? Correct me there. Colin, thank you so much for the follow. I don't know everybody's TikTok names. I'm stuck right now on gating. Started about a week and a half ago. Well, two things to this, bro. I do private label, so I don't have to get ungated on products. You started a week and a half ago. Keep going, brother. Even if you were at the month mark, you guys got to think like people, because I think the equivalent to this would be like someone struggling with product research on the private label side. If you've been looking for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, that's not something to be discouraged of, because you want this business to last you the rest of your life. So the rest of your life for 1 month, if you think about it, the trade-off it's just not even a question. So keep pushing. How much can one product expected to make annual revenue a year? It depends. Every single product and product market is different. So there's no one person who could answer that except for God. Not a person, but God would know. How you need to get an invoice of at least 10 units or more to get ungated from an official wholesaler or distributor. If I am selling a product that's $6 and am even, should I keep it or wait until I get organic sales? What do you mean if you're even? Like you're breaking even overall on the account, or breaking even where? If you're breaking even before ad spend, that's not a product that I would keep. What? You're just selling for nothing. I was ungated for a product, but I'm restricted to list it. Why would this happen? I would contact support about that. I'm not too sure. How much should I start off with? For private label, I'd say the minimum is $3K USD. Yes, I do mean there's nothing. Just got another appeal and submit extra information. But you have access to your seller account, right? So if you have access to your seller account, you're good to go, unless you have an issue with your seller account. Hey, Luke, just wanted to say what's up. What up, Craig Dog in the YT Live? Good to see you. M7, thank you so much for the follow in the TikTok Live. I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody in the live, vibing, asking questions, and listening to me rant about Amazon. Do you sell everyday products, or did you create your own product? Both. Like, I didn't invent my own product. I think, again, even Scrub Daddy, who has a patented product on a sponge, they didn't invent the sponge. They just made the sponge better. So there's not really much inventing going on in the business world unless you're an innovator. But I'm no Elon Musk. I'm taking existing products. I'm finding ways to improve upon those products, stand out and differentiate from the competition, and then selling them as my own. I'm currently looking for a closer to join my team. No, bro, I don't do like closers or salespeople. The people who hop on calls for my mentorship are actually students in the mentorship. And that is a requirement to be on the team. But I do appreciate you, and I hope that you find some people who need some closers. Fafi, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. What's the most important thing to learn FBA? I don't like, I'll rank them for you. And then after I rank them for you, I'm going to give you the caveat to that. I'm going to get to your question on YT right now, Kraydog. So I'd say product research is the most important, because if you don't understand product research, you're not going to get a good product. And if you don't get a good product, then everything's out the window. I would say then the next things to learn would be like SEO and negotiating. Those are going to be important. You don't need to be a master of SEO, but you need to understand it. And then the last would be PPC ads. The reason why I wouldn't necessarily rank them is because Amazon is a flywheel, right? Or it's like a gear system. If one of the gears isn't working, then you're not going to have a fully operational system. So if you have a good product, but you have terrible SEO and terrible PPC ads, or terrible conversion, like a terrible listing, I guess I should have engulfed SEO and conversion together, then it doesn't matter, because you're not going to sell, or you're going to lose money on it. Or if you have a good product and good conversion, but you don't know how to market the product, then you could maybe waste a lot of money, or you could potentially not get the product seen or ranked to page 1. So understanding, having a good product, negotiating well with a supplier so that you get the best cost of goods and your margins are solid, having a great listing that's going to convert on Amazon, as well as one where if people search for certain things, they're going to find it. That's the SEO optimized, search engine optimization. And then having great PPC ads so that you're able to market your product well, you're able to convert well, and good PPC ads actually end up making it to where if you rank well, you don't have to fully rely on PPC ads to get your sales. So that is all important. When differentiating on a product, is it just combining, say, a few other offer competitors, or if I were to add a new form or functionality? It could be both. The thing with adding a new functionality or a new form is that you better be sure that it's going to actually add value to the product. A great example, obviously this already exists, but this is a battery charger for camera batteries, right? Let's pretend that the only thing that ever existed on the market was a one slot one, right? Where you can only put one battery in. If you were to create something unique where yours has two, this just obviously adds value into the market. And I think that would be a great differentiator. Now, if it was something where, like, I'm going to be a little silly here, but if it was something where it was this and you added something where a little storage unit as a differentiator, I can open this up and put something in there. Absolutely pointless. It's cool. It's different, but it's pointless. In that case, I think you'd be better off taking one idea from one top competitor, one idea from one top competitor. And if nobody has a hybrid combining all of those, that could be a differentiator in itself. And that's actually, James just said, how do you improve a product? So that kind of, I think, explains it. Thank you. Of course, Mars. How much did it cost you to start? 4,900 USD. How long did it take you to earn 1 million sales? In sales, like in 1 year, or are you talking about the lifetime of my brand 1 mil? Because the answers would be very different. 1 mil in sales, probably like a year, like the 2.5 to 3 year mark. Hey, what's up, bro? What up, Perk? Is that adding something too new to the market? So I hope how I explained it gives some context, Craydog. Yeah, boy, Jem, thank you so much for the follow on the TikTok live. I appreciate you. I'm currently doing arbitrage. How would I transition to private label? Learn the private label business model and then just start. It's not really necessarily a transition. It depends. Are you trying to do both arbitrage or wholesale, or are you trying to completely abandon arbitrage and then do private label? If that's the case, just sell out of your inventory, liquidate everything, not liquidate, but like get rid of everything, sell it all off. And then you would start the steps of private label. And here's something that I want to mention, Perk. This isn't to go like pinpoint like what you're saying. It's more so for everybody else. How everyone's like, should I start with arbitrage and then go to private label? No, because like in Perk's example, he's essentially going to fully relearn the private label business model because they are fully different businesses. Why you source suppliers state? Do you source suppliers stateside? Concerned about Trump's tariffs? I'm not concerned about the tariffs. I source some products stateside. Christina, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. What do you think about the tariffs coming? That's non-factor to me. And I say that because there's going to be some businesses who can support it, and there's going to be some who pass it on to the consumer. We already saw, if I'm not mistaken, the tariffs on Canada and Mexico already are paused. So we'll see if China and the US can come to some kind of negotiation, because that was the whole reason of the tariffs. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to do this permanently. From my understanding, it was more so like, hey, we're going to, we are using this as a negotiation tactic, as we saw with Mexico and Canada. Pretty sure Mexico is sending 10,000 troops to the US border because of that. So that being said, we'll see if they stay, but if they do stay, then give it 6 months, and not everybody, like the market always adjusts. So if these are here forever, 10% tariffs on all Chinese goods, That's not enough for people to fully change their infrastructure or their business to get products sourced in the US, because it would be significantly more expensive than 10%. And then, everyone's just if everyone gets the same fee increase, everybody's going to have to adjust. Did you read the books? I did not, bro. You might have to remind me of them again. Good morning, sir. Good evening. Where are y'all watching the live from? I'm down here in SoCal. What if the main form of improvement is the quality of the product? Says it's cheap material. Nah, bro, that's not a good enough differentiator, because a differentiator needs to be something that the customer sees prior to getting the product. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, it's a great thing, but this is e-commerce. So they're not going to be able to see the difference in your quality until they actually get it. You need something that sells it before they actually get it in order for them to get it. 4chan, thank you for sharing the live. You're the GOAT, brother. I just want to make this a full-time job. I'm 18, just getting out of high school and arbitrage. Let's go, Perk. You got time, brother. You got time. Slow, you missed that segment of the live where we were talking about that. But, let's say average life. Let's see. What's the average male life expectancy US? 77. Let's call it 80. We'll round up. Brother, you're at the 25% mark. You know what I'm saying? You got time. Just stick to the fundamentals, work hard. Cut out a lot of the that's my best advice. Cut out a lot of the distractions, bro, because this is a weird one, and I hope it doesn't come off the wrong way. I had a bunch of homies who, high school homies, wherever, and I was there once, so I'm not trying to judge either, but everybody wanted to live the baller life. So I had homies we were at a high school buying $1,000 Gucci shoes. They're doing, everybody's doing better than me, whether because they had a construction job. I was making $12 an hour. When I first got out of high school. Actually, I was working on the ranch picking up horse poop, but that was my first job, for those of you who don't know. And so everybody's kind of living that fast life, keeping up with the Joneses. And I was like, listen, I'm going to eat dirt I'm going to eat dirt for the next couple of years. I don't need, my buddies are buying all these trucks and cars. I knew people who went and bought 3 cars, no exaggeration. And then fast forward a few years later, those cars were getting repoed. And I was like, I'm just going to cut out all the distractions, the partying and all this stuff. And everyone thought I was lame. Everybody thought I was whack. Everyone thought, what happened to Luke? He was the fun dude. He was the party guy. What happened? Oh, he's it was to the point where, and I didn't mind this because it was the intention. I stopped responding for a reason, but where it's okay, I'm not getting invited to the kickbacks and all this stuff. And some of you might be like, oh man, that sounds so boring. Fast forward to today, able to travel. Last year, 2024, it was 10 countries. I'm traveling, boom, boom, boom. And then people are working 9-to-5 jobs. They didn't cut out the distractions. I cut out the distractions, and I'm not trying to yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And even to that point, that's not a judgment thing, because I even know people who they started off a little slow. They played that game, but they're getting it together now, and we're only 24, 25, 26. So everyone's still young, and they're going to be on a great track. I actually have 2 friends in particular that I'm thinking of who were like that. And if I had to bet, they are going to, God willing, be very, very successful. So people evolve, people get to that stage at different times in life. Just because I got it there, just because it clicked for me at 19 and it clicked for somebody at 26 doesn't make me better than them, because everybody's going to have their own journey and their own timeline in life. So I do want to point that out. I hope that didn't come off as arrogant or anything. I know people who get it together at 30 and they go on to get insane success. My cousins were actually people like that. What are the main distractions? This is a great question. vices, like I don't know if I can say them on TikTok, but alky and the za, if you guys know what the slang I'm saying are, things like that are for sure vices. Partying is a vice. The raves, I only say that because that was something that I did a lot back in the day. And honestly, like this is where I went on the extreme side of things, because to me, a distraction was like, I have two options. You want me to go play Top Golf and we're going to go have the same conversations that we had last week and with the same people and probably listen to the same music on the way there. And it was like just very, very predictable. Or did I want to work on my business and grow it? Like for me, it was always business and everything else was a distraction. But I did go on the extreme side of things because I've shared this story. Oh, let's get to more questions and then I'll share that story. Good morning from the United Arab Emirates. Let's go. Love the UAE. Never been there, but all the people that I've ever talked to, or like my students who are from there, stand-up people. Do you teach? I do. I have a mentorship program in the TikTok bio. Luke, I'm following you very close. Actually, you are my mentor. Are you in the mentorship program, brother? Or are you talking about just you getting mentorship from me from my videos and stuff? Either way, God bless you and I love it. Get rich or die. I like it. Follow. Thank you so much for the follow. Do you believe to visit Canton Fair is helping me ideas for selling on Amazon? I don't think it's going to help you with. Maybe it could spark some ideas. I can't really say whether yes or no what's going to be sparked in your mind. That being said, if you have some potential products that you want to get manufactured, then it could be a good way to get some relationships. You're 26, I'm 25. I'm actually 25. I turned 26 April 6th this year. So in about 2 months, I will be 26. Can I reach you on private? My DM. Oh, no, I'm not. So that's only something that's available. Reaching my direct line is only something available for my mentorship students. It's one of the perks of being in the program. Outside of that, if y'all have any questions, I never gatekeep any information and I answer every single question. I know some of y'all might be waiting for a minute for me to answer it, but I go line by line, question by question. Thanks. Good advice. Of course. Alex, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. How many SKUs do you have on Amazon? About 40 plus. Thank you, bro. I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm just cutting out all distractions, taking my future serious. I like that. One more thing that I do want to mention, because I've made a couple of videos about this recently, and I feel like if I have a platform where I'm telling people like hustle, 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 I also have to tell the other side of it. And that is that life is not all about money, everybody. So 2 things with this, and then we'll go back to talking about money and how to make it. I had an accident in, what was it, 2022, I believe. And it was one of those things where I was doing so well in business. Thank God I was, I had built up my business. I built up my companies. I was in a position in life where, I had my own place, my own car, all the things that I dreamt of. And the accident, thank God, like the car itself was very bad, totaled. Me, just a few bruises by the grace of God. Like the fire department pulled up and they looked at me. They were like, are you sure you don't need to go to the hospital? Like check if, and actually, but not funny, but interestingly enough, I think that's the accident that broke my back and why I live in 24/7 pain. But so it was a pretty nasty accident. No scratches except for the bruises and maybe the broken back. So I guess there were some scratches. Anyways, I get home and I'm having these like really deep thoughts. I'm like, man, I really, my cousin's like, bro, you could have went, because my cousin was actually my mentor. Cousin was the one who picked me up from the accident. And he's like, bro, you could have went. I'm like, nah, bro, what are you talking about? I was good. It wasn't that bad. And then I kind of started to reflect on it. And I think it hit me. I think just the adrenaline, I was so pumped up. We went and got Korean barbecue after. So I wasn't even thinking like that. I was like, it started to hit me like, oh, wow, I actually really could have gone that day. And then this other layer of thoughts started to creep in where it's like, if I went that day, what what did I truly accomplish in life? Like, yes, I created the business and I got the money and I got the apartment, I got the car and all these things. But like, I spent all my time in just these four walls, right? Technically six if you count the ceiling and floor, but I just spent my life upon these four walls, building the business, sitting behind a computer. And I thought, I had this like really deep thought of like, surely life I wasn't put on this earth just to work and then go. And then when I go, like, okay, maybe I leave something for the people around me, but that's it. I didn't experience life. I just worked and worked and worked. So then at that point, I decided that I had to shift my mindset. And I realized like I sacrificed all this stuff. I built up the business. And now I should probably, enjoy the fruits of my labor. I'm blessed, and it doesn't always have to be this rat race thing. And then another video that I just posted, it's funny because like some of the videos that I think should get to the most amount of people, get the least amount of views. I posted a video. It is actually my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th to last video on my TikTok. I think everyone should watch that video and watch the video that I stitch. But the video that I stitched, the caption is, a man has 100 problems until one of those problems is health, and then a man only has one problem. I know some of you are like, we're going to get to the Amazon questions. And I know some of you are like, bro, shut up, just talk about Amazon. But I do really think that this is important because he's hiding his secrets. Nah, bro, I put it all on the table. I gatekeep nothing. But I just think it's important because life isn't linear. It's not like all about the grind, all about the hustle, all about the car, all about the money. So there's a dude in there whose video that I stitched, and he's talking about, he's an engineering student. He's on track to have what he wants. He gets diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and he sits there and realizes like all those problems that I had before that I was stressing so much about, I would take those problems in a heartbeat. And I stitched the video because the feelings, something similar. I've only talked about it 2 other times, once on a live a year ago, once in that video, and this will be the 3rd time. In 2023, my mom got sick. It was also the year, because obviously like as the years go on, the business grows. My mom got diagnosed with the sickness in July of 2023. At that point, I was making the most money that I had ever made in my entire life, like unfathomable. Right? Every single problem that I ever thought that I had, I'm stressing about business. And here's the trip that year, because I'm in a good position. I was like, no, I have so much work. I got caught up in the rat race. I actually passed up on a trip to go to Egypt with my mom in March. My mom gets diagnosed with this sickness. Think about how I'm feeling, thinking like, in my head, it's like, no, we'll just do the trip later. What if there's not a later? And you sit there and you think that everything is about this business and everything is about the work and boom, boom, boom. I swear to you, it's not. And so that's one layer of it, like passing up an opportunity to live life because you feel like this business thing can't be pushed off 2 weeks or whatever. The grind, the rat race, the hustle. And then the other side of it was I literally prayed to God every day. I said, God, I'm making the most money that I've ever made. Take it all away. Make my business go to zero. I will go bankrupt, God, if you give my mom her health. Obviously, I don't get to decide that. Obviously, that's up to God, and the doctors. It's up to God, and then the doctors and all the medicine and all that stuff. Thank God, by the glory of God, my mom is good today. I say that though, and I tell that story because it's not all about business, yo. When I tell you that every day I prayed that please take it all away, I don't say those aren't words. That was like from the bottom of my heart. And to think that my whole life, what feels like my whole life, I've been building this business, I've been building these goals and these dreams, and we think that that's all that matters in life. Bro, it's not. And ladies and gentlemen, it is not all that matters in life. I promise you. Work hard, be the best version of yourself. But like, remember that the whole reason of money is not to buy a car, is not to buy the nicest house, because I promise you, you will give all that up in a blink of an eye for the people around you, for the ones that you love, to be good. The whole reason of money, the whole reason that I ever wanted to be successful was to take care of my mom, to take care of my family, to take care of just everybody. Leave it at that. I think I've missed what you said. How to start an FBA business. Step 1, create an Amazon account. Step 2, get a product research software. Find a product to sell. It's such a weird transition going from something deep, answering the questions. Beautiful story. Thank you. I appreciate that. I did go crazy though, man. I feel like I lost time at a young age. Nah, bro, you didn't. You're living your life. Like, if you went to prom, if you went to homecoming, like, bro, you should go do all those things. This is actually why, like, one of my favorite influencers, whatever, business people, is Gary Vee. People might think he's a little corny. You know, there's all the little skits of making fun of him. I think they're hilarious. He thinks they're hilarious because he says it. But bro, you're young. You're so young. I'm so young. I don't know if you were here when I said it earlier. Like, I've been building this business, my empire, for 6 years. If God forbid I lost it all tomorrow and I had to spend another 6 years building it, bro, I'm going to be 32. That's still young. Do you think affiliate marketing is oversaturated? No, bro. I don't think anything is saturated. Just make great content. If the content blows up, like, the beauty of the world that we live in is that, like, go look at my videos, guys. Like, I have 35,000 followers. Sometimes one of my videos will get 10,000, 5,000 views, but one of my videos will get 300 views. It's just based on the content. If you put out a good piece of content, it will do good. On private label, you create a whole new listing. That is correct. You do retail arbitrage? No, I do private label. Andrew, thank you so much for the follow. What's a product if you're just started to get easy sales fast? It's based on a product criteria, brother. You don't want something that's just, it's not going to necessarily be something handed to you. I have videos on my product criteria that I use, but you want a video that's based on that criteria, a product that's based on a criteria similar to that. You know, bro, I was scrolling and I always saw you on my For You page, and I took it as good signs to watch it. God bless, Perk. I like that. Glory to God. You were able to see the biggest things, bro. Yes, 100%. I'm just messing with you. No, I know you are, Brandon. What up, bro? I appreciate the advice a lot more than you think. Of course, brother. Guys, I'm telling you, like, the reason I make this content is because, like, almost imagine 19-year-old Luke sitting on the other side of this screen, watching his phone, listening to somebody on live. Like, there's a reason why Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, why I can name these people off the top of my head so quickly, Dean Graziosi. Like, yes, it's kind of like the motivational speaker circuit, right? Like, but at the same time, Tai Lopez, like, there was a reason why these people played such a big part in my life, because I didn't have anybody to talk to about these things. And when I got to a point where I felt like, okay, I have the success and I have, you know, the credibility to go and give these people advice myself. I was making videos on my Snapchat, son, with my 150 friends on there every day, motivational talks, because it wasn't because I was trying to be famous or have a bunch of followers. It was because I was like, yo, if I didn't have this kind of content, this kind of positive input, I don't think I would be here today, like, legit. I don't say that lightly. There was days in the party days where, like, by the grace of God, I'm still here. I love your story. I appreciate you, bro. That's powerful. That's so powerful. Amen. Facts. Yes, sir. Something similar happened to my dad when he got COVID and he went to the hospital, and I was told he wouldn't make it through the night and he had to be put on a respirator. Thank God he didn't have to be put on one because of the stories and people knew were really bad. How is he? Yeah. Well, yeah, very sorry to hear that. Is he good now? But yeah, it's you realize that just health over wealth any day. Christopher, thank you so much for the follow. Bond, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate both of y'all. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. What's a good search volume for the main keyword of a product? Like 2K. How long you been doing this? Since January 1st, 2019, about 6 years now. Perk, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. How do you get into PPC? Amazon PPC Ad Campaign Manager. Just boom, create a campaign, add your product. It's a little more complex than that. You want to structure it well. You want to understand how to do it, but it's through the Campaign Manager with Amazon. Woo! Let's go, everybody. I appreciate everyone being in the live. I don't really talk about, like I said, that was the third time I've ever even told that story, but yeah, he's doing great now. Thank God. Thank God. I love that. But yeah, don't talk about that stuff very often because obviously this is an Amazon chat, but I don't know. Maybe I should talk about that stuff more often because it's important. But on that note, everybody, make sure y'all go show some love to my last few videos. I've been posting 2, 3, 4 videos a day on TikTok recently. And if you guys like the videos, you guys like the lives, be sure to check out the AMZ Masterclass Mentorship Program in the TikTok bio if you guys want me as a mentor and to have a more in-depth guide on how to sell on Amazon. I love you all. God bless. And I will see y'all soon. Give it a little delay because I have to wait for TikTok because it lags. Okay, we're done. Let's get it. Okay, YouTube. So step 1, Amazon account setup. Step 2 was what? Get a product research software and find a product to sell. Dineros. I have a video that I just posted on YouTube today, how to find a successful product to sell on Amazon. I have videos on YouTube on the criteria that I use to find successful products. And then I also have videos on how to analyze a potential product. So if you haven't already, be sure to check those out. And if you guys like the lives, like the videos, and want a more in-depth guide on how to sell on Amazon and to have me as a mentor, be sure to check out the AMZ Masterclass Mentorship Program in the YouTube bio. I love you all. I appreciate y'all rocking with me, and I will see y'all soon.